sir, do you believe you can?
Fire and fury in the skies over Ukraine, Russia hammering the country, unleashing airstrikes across Ukraine. Diplomatic efforts seem to be collapsing. Where do things stand really as far as the Russia-Ukraine war is concerned? Ukraine is fighting back with the British missiles that just penetrated deep into Russian territory. A lot is happening. 13 killed, dozens injured in Ukraine. The cost of the war rising once again, as Russia seems to push for total victory. Take a look.
It began under a black Ukrainian sky, streaks of light cutting through the clouds, sirens wailing, explosions echoing across Kyiv and Kharkiv. Flames erupt as Russian missiles and Shahid drones rained down in a coordinated overnight assault. The skyline burns orange, windows shattered, streets turned into rivers of fire and debris. In Kyiv, emergency teams scrambled through the chaos, pulling survivors from collapsed apartment blocks.
There was a huge explosion wave. When I got out of my bed, I saw the neighbor's house on fire. It was so fast and so powerful that I thought it was a drone with a powerful explosive. You can see all the boards of the fence ended up on the roof. All the windows are blown out, even those that were covered with the curtains.
We heard a loud explosion, and then the glass started to fall, and then everything was caught in the rain of fire. The fire drops were everywhere. It was very scary for kids. I never thought that this could happen in our neighborhood.
In Kharkiv, entire neighborhoods lost power. The thud of detonations rolled for hours.
The children were very scared. They cried. We calmed them down. One girl had minor cuts. I provided first aid. We evacuated the children to the shelter and calmed them down as they were crying. Children are children. They asked for their parents. They were worried and scared. They were shaking and they were stressed out.
Dramatic footage from Sumy showed a Russian drone diving like a hawk before exploding on impact. Kyiv says Russia launched over 400 drones and nearly 30 missiles. Ukraine, too, is continuing its deep strikes inside Russian territory. According to reports, Kyiv used British-supplied Storm Shadow missiles. The attack targeted a plant in the city of Bryansk that reportedly produces components used in Russian ammunition. In Oslo, President Zelensky has backed U.S. President Donald Trump's proposal to make the current front line the basis for negotiations with Russia, but doubts his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin would accept it.
How now to go to political decisions, peace negotiations, diplomatic way, how to stop Putin. That's why we had the long conversation. After our conversation, you saw messages, public messages from Trump. He proposed stay where we stay and begin conversation. I think that was good compromise, but I'm not sure that Putin will support it, and I said it to President.
Now, hours after Trump announced that he was not going to waste time when queried on the Budapest meet with Putin, the Russian side maintains that preparations for Putin-Trump meeting continue, but no date has been decided yet. As diplomacy gathers pace, the war continues. The front lines remain static. The killing doesn't stop. The war, it seems, is not slowing down, it's accelerating. Russia and Ukraine are now fighting not just for land, but for endurance. Bureau Report, Wion, World is One.
Let's now shift our focus to West Asia, where British troops have joined a US-led multinational task force to oversee the fragile ceasefire in Gaza, a move that signals growing Western involvement in shaping post-war Gaza. The British Ministry of Defense has confirmed that a limited number of its planning officers are now deployed in Israel. Officials say the British officers are not entering Gaza itself and will operate strictly from Israel. On the diplomatic front, U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance met with the Israeli Prime Minister. Early today, Vance acknowledged, in fact, the enormous challenge of disarming Hamas, calling it one of the toughest parts of U.S. President Donald Trump's new Gaza plan.
We're very excited to sit down and work together on the Gaza peace plan. We have a very, very tough task ahead of us, which is to disarm Hamas.
J.D. Vance said Washington's immediate goal is to help rebuild Gaza while guaranteeing Israel's security. Standing beside J.D. Vance, Netanyahu rejected claims that Israel has become dependent on Washington and called the U.S.-Israel bond an alliance of partners. J.D. Vance echoed that sentiment, insisting that America seeks a partner in Israel, not a subordinate state. Earlier in the day, Israel confirmed the recovery of 2 more hostage bodies from Gaza. And that brings the total number of returned deceased hostages to 15 since the ceasefire started on October 10. In fact, J.D. Vance also made it clear that the United States has no intention of sending troops into Gaza. Any foreign deployment on Israeli soil, he said, would require full approval from Israel. In fact, the U.S. Vice President expressed optimism, describing the ceasefire as holding better than expected. According to the Israeli government, the U.S. Secretary of State will be visiting Israel from Thursday. And during his visit to Israel's southern city of Kiryat Gat, J.D. Vance praised the progress made since the ceasefire took effect.
We've seen the past week gives me great optimism the ceasefire is going to hold. And if we get from where we were a week ago to a long-term durable peace between Israel and Gaza, there are going to be hills and valleys. There are going to be moments where it looks like things aren't going particularly well. But given that, and given the history of conflict, I think that everybody should be proud of where we are today.
Outside the U.S. Embassy, families of the deceased hostages staged a peaceful demonstration, urging continued American pressure to recover the bodies.
Bring them home! Bring them home!
In West Bank, Israeli settlers reportedly attacked Palestinian olive farmers and activists near the town of Turmos Aya. Masked men could be reportedly seen chasing harvesters through olive groves, one man striking at least 2 people with a club, including a woman seen lying motionless on the ground. Palestinian officials saying this is not an isolated incident.
More than 150 assaults since the beginning of the season, and we are talking about the first week of the olive picking season. More than 40 thefts of olive fruits and picking tools have occurred throughout the West Bank. More than 700 olive trees, and I am speaking since the beginning of the season, have been uprooted, broken, and poisoned, all concentrated in the Hebron, Ramallah, Jenin, and Jordan Valley areas.
As the mediators, in fact, talk about peace and Gaza's reconstruction, the reality on the ground remains fragile. The ceasefire may be holding for now, but its survival depends on rebuilding not just Gaza, but perhaps faith in peace itself. Our next story is about what is being called a universal kidney. Are you curious, confused? Let's tell you all that you need to know. Scientists have developed a unique kidney, one that can match any patient, no matter the blood type. No matter the blood type. In simple terms, a universal kidney transplant by converting a donor kidney to blood type O, which would mean it can be compatible with anyone. It's a big breakthrough. Basically, a kidney that can be accepted by everyone, any blood type. It's a major milestone when it comes to kidney transplantation. A huge leap when it comes to helping people get transplants sooner. In case you are not aware, the process involves matching the kidney with the blood type of the patient, usually, and this breakthrough could change that, which in turn could mean more available donor organs and a boost in the transplant success rates. Published in Nature Biomedical Engineering, this comes after over a decade of work, in fact. Let's just break this down further. Type O patients make up over half of kidney wait lists. What does that mean? A longer wait, because type O kidneys are a lot in demand. And this breakthrough could transform organ transplants and save lives. Just for context, in late 2023, researchers demonstrated the first successful transplant of a converted kidney into a brain-dead recipient, where it worked well, without rejection, for several days. And with this latest breakthrough, the question is what lies ahead, what happens here onwards. There would be regulatory approvals and clinical trials. All this could lead to a massive transformation that could actually impact thousands of lives.